Possibilities at end of option period. We typically use a 1-year lease option, and before the lease option expires, the tenant buyer and you need to agree on what will happen next. There are 4 primary possibilities. I know that some investors want to hold the property as long as possible, so they can continue earning cash flow. However, if the tenant buyer exercises the option and buys the property every time, you would be making 30 to 40% per year instead of 10 to 15% per year. Since selling the property locks in the gains of more than 30%, that is what we always recommend. It is impossible to guarantee exactly what will happen, but here are the most likely possibilities. Plan A, buyer gets bank financing in first year. Plan B, buyer gets bank financing in second year. Plan C, first tenant moves out after 1 year and second tenant buys in second year. Plan D, you provide seller financing after 1 year. Let's go through some sample numbers for each possibility. Let's assume the following: $60,000 purchase price, $20,000 rehab cost, $95,000 market value, $100,000 option price, $5,000 option fee, $1,000 per year for taxes, $1,000 per year for insurance, $1,000 per month for rent. Plan A, buyer gets bank financing in first year. Personally, I have found it to be more profitable to find buyers who can qualify for a bank loan within a year. That enables me to sell the property, cash out, and repeat the process. I even help the buyers get into a credit repair program if needed. With that said, by the end of year 1, this is what would happen. You collected the $5,000 option fee up front, and the buyer gets financing to pay off the remaining $95,000 as agreed. In addition to the $100,000 for the property, you collected $12,000 of rent during the year for total income to you of $112,000. You paid $60,000 for the property plus $20,000 for rehab. You then paid insurance and taxes throughout the year for a total cost of $82,000. Your return on this $82,000 investment is $30,000, which is over 35%. Plan B, buyer gets bank financing in second year. Sometimes we get to the end of the first year and the buyer needs a little more time. Occasionally, they are not done with their credit repair, but more often than not, they need to set aside a little more money for the down payment required by the bank. In this example, assume it takes the tenant until the end of the second year to get financed. Your costs are only increased by the $1,000 of insurance and the $1,000 of taxes in year total, for total expenses of $84,000. Your revenue is increased by another $12,000 of rent, for a total of $124,000. This results in a net profit over 2 years of about 48%. Plan C, first tenant moves out after 1 year and second tenant buys in second year. Sometimes we get to the end of the first year and it is obvious that the tenant will not be able to get a bank loan. There are 2 possibilities here. The first is to part ways with the tenant, keep the $5,000 option money and the $12,000 of rent he paid, and place a new buyer tenant in the property with a new $5,000 option fee. We will add $3,000 to cover any repairs needed after year 1. That takes total expenses to $87,000. We also add the $5,000 option fee from the second tenant, bringing the total income to $129,000. That results in a net profit over 2 years of about 48%. Plan D, you provide seller financing after 1 year. If the original tenant cannot get a bank loan at the end of the first year, there is another option. You can provide seller financing to the tenant. Personally, I only do this if they have made every payment on time and they have at least 10% down payment. I amortize over 15 years and charge interest of 9.9%, but you could certainly charge more or less. So, why would you be the bank and make this loan? First of all, you lock in that gain of more than $20,000. Second, you lock in monthly payments of $962 for the next 15 years. Third, you hand your insurance and tax expenses over to the buyer, along with any other liability of being a property owner. Fourth, it creates 2 options for you to be able to get your funds out and repeat the process with another property. The best one, in my opinion, is to get a loan on the property yourself with a cash-out refinance. Essentially, you borrow $80,000 from a bank at about 6%, and you are loaning $90,000 to the buyer at 9.9%. Every month for the next 15 years, you net over $300 per month, and you have the $80,000 back to go do it again. So that covers the most likely possibilities of what will happen with your property and a lease option. As you can see, this can be incredibly profitable. With that said, it is important to make sure you know what you are doing. Abide by all tenant laws, lending laws, Dodd-Frank, and the SAFE Act while marketing to find properties, rehab them, find and screen tenant buyers, and complete all the paperwork properly. Or let us take care of these things for you. If you are ready to move forward, click the Schedule a Call button below to schedule a conference call with us. We will answer any remaining questions and discuss your criteria.